Hey everybody, this is Hoang,
And zero.
and today we're going to talk about the Digimon TCG 2020 card game, specifically how to play the color black. Alright, so first off, let's talk about what is within the color black. Now, for those of you that don't know, black is a really slow pace, defensive oriented style deck, and it has a really huge emphasis on blockers. The amount of blockers in the color black trumps all of the other colors, as black has at least 3 to 4 blockers within set 1 already. Moving on, we also have Pseudo Removal in the form of Digivolution. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. However, it's pretty cheap, let's just say that.
Alright, to start off, let's talk about the unique mechanics that is exclusive to Black as of set 1.0. First off, we have Reboot. Reboot is a skill that allows you to unsuspend your Digimon during your opponent's active phase. This is a very powerful mechanic to gain tempo while playing defensively because it allows you to attack and then untap your Digimon in order to prevent your opponent from attacking into it, or in some cases, if your Digimon has blocker, it allow you to have an additional blocker after attacking. Next, let's talk about the Digivolve. The Digivolve is a cheap removal mechanic that doesn't actually get rid of the actual Digimon, but because they are generally cheaper than your average removal, it will allow you to gain tempo without passing turn in some cases by removing the most problematic Digimon and making them weaker. And finally, we have token generation, which is a unique mechanic to Diaboromon. What this allows you to do is have Diaboromon create token of himself when he attacks. These tokens are significantly weaker than main body, but Diaboromon is able to sacrifice these tokens when he dies in combat in order to prevent his own destruction.
While we're on the topic of unique mechanics, let's talk about some unique cards within the color black. First off, we have Karamon. Karamon is the rookie of Diaboromon, who is the token generator for the color black. Karamon states, when you play another Digimon with the same name as its Digimon, draw one. And if you don't understand what that means, whenever you make a token with Diaboromon, if this card is in the stack, you do draw one. And so you can get a pretty cool engine for the token generator deck. Following up Karamon, we have a really popular Digimon, Newmon. Newmon is a 3 cost to play from hand and a 1 cost to Digivolve. And Newmon is the only Digimon currently in the Digimon card game with this unique cost ratio. So play this card if you want to have more consistent opening hands, as he costs equivalent to most rookies. While we're on the topic of Digimon that come from the garbage, let's talk about Chumon. Chumon states your opponent cannot gain memory outside of Tamers, and so this touches Lilithmon, Vulcan's Hammer, and any other cards that may give your opponent memory. Currently, as of 1.0, Chumon is the only card that does this, however, in 1.5, we will receive more. Last but not least, in the cards that are unique to Black, we have the king himself, Metal Edemon. Metal Edemon is currently the only unblockable Digimon as of set 1.0, which means your opponent cannot stop his attack as he goes in for their security. Now, while he is a 10k during your turn, on your opponent's turn, he is 12,000 DP. And so, you may all be wondering, this card sounds pretty cool. Is there a deck for him? The answer is yes. We do have a deck for Metal Edemon.
Alright, I want to introduce you guys to Monkey Metal. This is a very aggressive deck that's not typical of Black. And the strategy of this deck is to use Toyagamon to gain Reboot, Greymon to gain Jamming, and Metal Greymon to gain one additional security check. All of this will allow you to create the ultimate unblockable monkey. And what this allows you to do is play very aggressively with your Metal Edemon to where your opponent cannot block him, but then have him reboot at the start of your opponent's turn so they cannot punish by swinging into him. You also run Spiral Sword, which is a card that power up Metal Edemon so he doesn't die to allow your opponent Digimon in security. Now, the rest of the deck is made up of blockers and other support cards to prevent your monkey from dying. Gotta protect the President Monkey.
With all of that said, let's do some closing thoughts. So Black as a color in the Digimon card game is really slow and steady, and it may not necessarily be tier 1. However, with 1.5 coming out 1 month later, we're going to see cards such as Ragnalord or Craniumon give the deck a really big boost. And I did say it may not be tier 1, but it will definitely be stronger than it originally was in the Japanese BT2 format due to many colors not having all of their cards they had at the time. And so, with that said, thank you all for watching. We really appreciate it over here, and we hope you continue to stick around for our next piece of content, especially when we have guest star Sack. Thank you all.
Yep. Thank you, everyone.